Imagine you're driving alone through the Australian Outback. It's past midnight. The nearest town is hundreds of kilometers away. Your headlights cut through endless darkness as an empty highway stretches ahead. Then suddenly, you notice a vehicle parked on the side of the road. Its doors are open. The engine is still warm, but the driver is gone. No footprints, no signs of a struggle, no explanation. Just another mystery added to a highway that has become infamous for one chilling reason. People go missing here without a trace, and some are never seen again. Tonight, we explore one of Australia's most terrifying mysteries. The Australian highway where people vanished without a trace. Australia is home to some of the most isolated landscapes on Earth. Vast deserts, endless bushland, thousands of kilometers of lonely highways cutting through regions where help can be hours away. Most travelers pass through these roads without incident. But over the years, one stretch of highway has gained a dark reputation. Locals whisper about strange disappearances. Truck drivers share stories of abandoned vehicles found in the middle of nowhere. And families continue searching for loved ones who simply vanished. No answers, no clues, no closure. For decades, this highway has been connected to a series of mysterious cases that remain unsolved to this day. Some believe the harsh environment is responsible. Others think something far darker may be hiding in the shadows. The mystery begins with a simple fact. The Australian outback is unforgiving. Temperatures can become deadly. Mobile phone signals disappear for hundreds of kilometers. If a traveler becomes lost or stranded, survival can quickly become a race against time. But many disappearance cases don't fit that explanation. Because in several incidents, investigators found vehicles, belongings, and even personal items left behind, yet the people themselves were nowhere to be found. It's as if they simply stepped out of reality. One story tells of a traveler making a routine journey through the region. Friends expected him to arrive later that evening. He never did. Days later, search teams discovered his vehicle parked beside the highway. Nothing appeared unusual. There was fuel in the tank, no signs of a crash, no evidence of theft. His wallet remained inside. His phone was found, but the driver had vanished. Search teams combed the surrounding area for weeks. Helicopters scanned the landscape. Volunteers walked kilometer after kilometer across the desert. Yet no trace of him was ever discovered. Case remains unsolved, and it wouldn't be the last. As years passed, more disappearances added to the highway's growing reputation. Some involved tourists, others involved experienced locals who knew the region well. Different background, different circumstances. Yet many cases shared one disturbing similarity. People disappeared after traveling alone, at night, along isolated sections of road. Eventually, stories began spreading among truck drivers. Drivers who spend countless hours traveling Australia's remote highways often hear things others don't. Many reported seeing strange lights in the distance. Others described abandoned vehicles appearing unexpectedly in places where nobody should have been. Some claimed they felt an overwhelming sense of unease while driving certain stretches after dark. Of course, skeptics argue there are logical explanations. Long hours on the road, fatigue, isolation. The human mind can play tricks when surrounded by darkness for hundreds of kilometers. But not every story is so easy to dismiss. One truck driver later described spotting a person standing beside the road shortly before dawn. The figure appeared completely motionless. No vehicle nearby, no belonging, nothing. Concerned for their safety, the driver slowed down. But as he approached, he claimed the figure seemed to disappear into the dark. When he stopped and searched the area moments later, nobody was there. The incident became another strange story added to the highway's legend. Over time, theories began emerging. Some believe criminals may have used isolated sections of road to target vulnerable travelers. Others think natural hazards are responsible. The Australian wilderness is vast enough to hide evidence for years, perhaps forever. Then there are those who prefer a more supernatural explanation. They point to countless reports of unexplained sightings, shadowy figures, strange lights, voices heard in empty places. Stories passed between travelers generation after generation. Whether those stories are true or not remains impossible to prove, but they continue to survive because the mystery itself survives. And that's what makes this highway so unsettling. Not the stories, not the rumors, not even the legends. It's the fact that real people genuinely disappeared. Families waited for phone calls that never came. Search teams spent years looking for answers. Investigators followed leads that ended in silence. And despite all modern technology, despite all the resources available today, many of those cases remain unsolved. Imagine how terrifying that must be, to travel down a highway, to make a journey you've made before, to expect to arrive home safely, and then simply vanish. No explanation, no final message, no trace, just questions. Questions that may never be answered. Today, the highway remains open. Cars continue traveling its lonely stretches every day. Truck drivers still cross the region every night. Life goes on. Yet somewhere beneath the endless Australian sky, mysteries remain buried. Unsolved disappearances, forgotten clues, and stories that refuse to die. Because sometimes the most frightening horror isn't a ghost or a monster. It's the reality that a person can disappear into the darkness and never be found again. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Australian Scary Story for more terrifying Australian mysteries, dark legends, unsolved disappearances, and horror documentaries from the darkest corners of Australia.